This content is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for personal health concerns. We have become experts at silencing our own internal alarm systems. You feel that nagging ache in your lower back, the strange flutter in your chest, or a sudden, unexplainable fatigue, and your first instinct is to blame a long day at the office or a lack of sleep. But here is the reality: your body is an exceptionally sophisticated communicator. It doesn't speak in riddles to annoy you, it speaks in survival signals to protect you. When you ignore these subtle prompts, you aren't just being tough, you might be missing the early warning signs of something that requires your immediate attention. When the dashboard lights up with a warning icon, you wouldn't dream of putting a piece of tape over it and continuing your drive at high speeds. Yet we do exactly that with our health every single day. Research suggests that the difference between managing a minor health issue and facing a major medical crisis often hinges on how quickly we acknowledge these initial whispers of distress. It isn't about fostering anxiety or dwelling on worst-case scenarios, but rather about cultivating a deeper, more intuitive partnership with your own biology. Medical professionals emphasize that chronic symptoms are rarely random. They are data points, each one telling a specific story about what is happening beneath the surface. In the following minutes, we are going to decode the 10 most common, yet frequently overlooked, signals that your system might be sending right now. We will look at the evidence behind these sensations and provide you with a clearer understanding of when it is time to stop guessing and start acting. Let's begin by looking at the first set of indicators that are far too significant to leave unaddressed. To understand why your body suddenly decides to sound the alarm, we first need to look at the silent, complex choreography happening beneath your skin every single second. Think of your physiology as a highly sophisticated internal ecosystem, constantly striving for a state of biological equilibrium known as homeostasis. Whether you are sleeping, working, or exercising, your internal systems are in a perpetual state of adjustment, balancing your temperature, blood chemistry, and hormonal levels to keep you functioning at your absolute best. However, homeostasis is not a static condition, it is a dynamic process that requires constant feedback. When your body encounters stress, whether that stress comes from environmental factors, nutritional deficiencies, or emotional strain, it begins to deviate from that ideal baseline. Research suggests that the symptoms we often dismiss as minor inconveniences are actually the body's way of communicating that its compensatory mechanisms are becoming overwhelmed. Think of these physical cues as a dashboard warning light in a vehicle. Medical professionals often describe these sensations as the body's attempt to preserve its integrity. When you experience persistent fatigue, unexplained aches, or sudden shifts in your digestive patterns, your biological systems are likely struggling to maintain that delicate balance. Studies indicate that ignoring these early indicators can force the body to adopt secondary, less efficient strategies to cope, which often leads to more pronounced discomfort over time. By tuning into these signals early, you are essentially assisting your body in its natural mission to restore order. When you feel a persistent tug or a recurring sensation that something is just off, you are witnessing the result of your nervous system flagging a potential imbalance. This isn't just about feeling good, it is about respecting the intricate feedback loop that keeps you alive. Understanding this process changes how we view our health, moving away from a reactive mindset where we wait for a crisis, toward a proactive approach where we listen to the subtle whispers before they become shouts. Now that we have established how your body monitors its internal environment, we can move forward to examine the specific physical indicators that require your immediate attention. But why does your system choose to manifest these disruptions in the first place? To understand the origin of these signals, we must look past the surface and examine the underlying mechanisms that pull your body out of balance. At the foundation of many persistent symptoms lies the quiet, often invisible process of chronic inflammation. When your immune system remains in a state of high alert for too long, it begins to affect healthy cells, creating a cascade of fatigue, brain fog, and unexplained aches that many people mistakenly dismiss as simple exhaustion. Research suggests that this inflammatory state is frequently fueled by our modern environment. The combination of highly processed dietary habits, irregular sleep patterns, and the relentless pace of daily stress creates a perfect storm. Studies indicate that when your nervous system is constantly stuck in a fight or flight mode, your hormonal regulation begins to falter. You might notice changes in your skin, mood, or metabolic speed, all of which are physical echoes of these internal chemical shifts. Certain groups are statistically more susceptible to these physiological stressors. Medical professionals often observe that individuals juggling high-demand careers, those navigating significant life transitions, or people living in urban environments with limited access to restorative natural spaces are particularly vulnerable to these imbalances. It isn't just about genetics. It is about the intersection of your unique biology and the external pressures you face every single day. When you ignore the early warnings, you are essentially asking your body to compensate for a deficit that it can no longer cover on its own. It is vital to recognize that these symptoms are not your enemies. They are data points. They are the diagnostic tools your biology uses to communicate that a specific system, be it your digestion, your endocrine health, or your nervous system, is struggling to maintain homeostasis. Now that we have identified the core factors driving these internal disturbances, we can shift our focus to the specific, actionable red flags that you should never ignore. Moving from theory into practice, let's examine the 10 physical signals that demand your immediate attention. While minor fluctuations are normal, a sudden drop or climb without altering your lifestyle often points toward metabolic shifts or thyroid imbalances that require a professional look. Second, pay close attention to chronic fatigue that doesn't resolve after a full night's sleep. Third, watch for skin changes, particularly new moles or lesions that evolve in shape or color. Fourth, chronic digestive distress, such as persistent bloating or alternating bowel habits, is more than just a sensitivity. It is often a sign of gut microbiome disruption or nutrient malabsorption. While we often dismiss aches, pain that lingers in one spot for more than 2 weeks is a diagnostic clue that something is structurally or chemically amiss. Sixth, monitor your resting heart rate. Seventh, look for unexplained swelling in the lower extremities, which can hint at lymphatic congestion or circulatory inefficiencies. Ninth, keep an eye on prolonged vision changes. Blurred sight or sudden sensitivity to light can indicate blood sugar irregularities or pressure issues within the ocular nerves. If your immune system seems to be constantly struggling, it is a clear indicator that your internal defenses are depleted. To summarize, your body is an intricate, self-regulating system that constantly offers feedback through these subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, signals. This content is for informational purposes only. If you found this information helpful, feel free to subscribe for more insights on how to better understand your body's unique language.